I think his youth is going to play a factor. He's just a little bit longer, a lot a bit younger. This will be a fun fight.
All right, the 20-year-old steps into the cage now. He'll find his way to the red corner. Our first fight here of the afternoon, just moments away from being underway. Let's toss away now for the official introduction.
Ladies and gentlemen, your opening contest, brought to you by OnlyFans, is scheduled for 3 rounds in the Fury Amateur Series at a catch weight of 130 pounds. Introducing your first competitor, fighting out of the blue corner. Representing Main Street Boxing and Muay Thai, he stands 5 feet 8 inches tall, and he weighed in officially at 128.8 pounds. Fighting out of Houston, Texas, by way of San Jose, Costa Rica, he holds an amateur record of 1 win, 1 loss. This is Gabriel Antonio. And introducing his opponent across the cage, fighting out of the red corner, representing Strong Style MMA, he stands 5 feet 8 inches tall, and he weighed in at 130 pounds even. Fighting out of Rosenberg, Texas, today he makes his amateur debut. This is Tankman Mauricio Torres. Your referee in charge of the action, Professor Joe Solis.
All right, cage doors have been locked. Professor Joe Solis with the first assignment here this afternoon at Fury Amateur Series 52. Antonio can be in the blue gloves, Torres in the red gloves. Torres pushing Antonio against the cage early here.
Antonio with a heavy kicking game early, shoots in. Gets trapped in a front headlock. Antonio being a little more physical here than Torres. I think that's where his experience and age is going to come in to play.
You could maybe consider some grown man strength in there.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Considering the age difference.
That's a real thing too. It's just mature strength. Plays a factor. Albeit not the, end-all be-all best thing in the world. Antonio has a deep underhook there on that right side. Good head positioning. Oh, big knee. That was a good knee, right to the chin. I think it more surprised Torres than anything, but that was a well-thrown knee. Really good head positioning.
All these amateur fights, 3 3-minute rounds. Time can go by pretty quickly. Forcing the action, got to stay busy here. Just 1:30 left here in the first round. Antonio looking to try to get that leg elevated, maybe get the takedown. Torres doing a good job for now, staying on his feet. Still eating knees here and there.
Yeah, Torres needs to just start to pummel and turn his back off the cage and get offensive. I mean, he's mitigating damage, but that's about it. He's not really trying to win this clinch exchange. I mean, he needs to swim that right arm under, look to turn. Maybe a little struck by the reality that he is in a fight right now, but he's got to get with it and find his chances to, neutralize and then go on the offensive.
Yeah, he talked about the experience of Antonio. Been in there a couple times now. He knows a little bit about what to expect. Torres, this being his first time here in the cage, might be just kind of shell-shocked a little bit. Like you said, Alex, I am in a fight. Maybe might take him a round to get going here and kind of realize the speed and the intensity of this live fight.
Yeah, this round's going to be over, before he knows it.
Yes, just about 15 seconds left in that first round. Looks like we will be seeing a second. Level change there at the end. We're going to head into a second round. What started off as the aggression for Torres. He went for the clinch, was able to back Antonio against the cage, but ultimately Antonio reversing that position and never relinquishing it all the way to the remainder of the round. Some knees in there, little short shots, but nothing real damaging. We talked about the one knee early on. That was a pretty good knee, but other than that, really dominating the position there.
Yeah, not a lot of damage was done, so I think you got to give it to Gabriel Antonio for just the cage control time. Landed some decent knees in the clinch, you know, threatened takedowns. Torres needs to try to get this fight like in his realm. I tell my students all the time, you can't control what your opponents do. You can control what you do. So find a way to put a match, whether it be a jiu-jitsu match, an MMA fight, in your realm. And if you can't do that, it's gonna be a tough night. And then if you get two fighters hell-bent on putting the fight in their favor, then you got a really good fight on your hands.
Absolutely, yeah. Some intense cornering there in the strong style corner for Torres. Maybe trying to wake him up a little bit, get him into this fight. Round 2 underway. Yeah, Torres with a little bit of a pep in his step coming out of the second round. So he's able to get the hands going.
You know, Torres threw a nice 1-1-2. He's got good straight punches. He's making good contact.
Very adamant about staying out of the clinch there. You see him very quickly pushing Antonio away, making sure he didn't get his back stuck against the cage again. "30 seconds in here. Antonio, a little slip, falls down. Torres does let him back up. Seems that Torres is kind of getting his game going now here in the second round. Both gentlemen exchanging. Antonio looking to rush in here and get that clinch position again. Successful with it. We'll see if Torres can eventually find his way out or reverse this position.
A bit of a turn attempt, but half-hearted from Torres.
A little bit of a level change here for Antonio. Looking to get the ankle, stepping over the leg as well, trying to get this fight to the mat. Torres doing a good job, bringing the arms back up, using his overhook. But this is the risk, though, that secondary and third and fourth level changes, eventually getting lower and lower and lower.
Just notice Torres's right arm. He's not really making an attempt to pummel. And then if Torres can get that right side underhook, he can really use it to lift and turn. And if you can't actually turn your opponents back to the cage, you can at least go to open water and circle away from the wall. Nice little break punch into a shot there from Antonio.
Yeah, a bit deeper on this here shot, but Torres still doing a great job staying on his feet. Winding down to 30 seconds left here in the second round.
This was a little more competitive of a round, as I believe Torres landed the better strikes early. Antonio was able to lock him up on the cage.
Yeah, very reminiscent of what we saw there in the first round, potentially going to end this second round in that same position. There's your 10-second clapper. Little exchange here again at the end. Headed to the third round. All right, going into the corner here. You're in Torres's corner. What are you telling him going into this third round?
Man, I'm not too sure what Torres has done in the gym. It seems like his striking is pretty good. Just a little more commitment. Honestly, just picking up the pace of the fight. Like, this has not been the most taxing fight to really get the footwork going and just really commit to the shots and stay mobile.
Very much like what he was doing at the very beginning there of that second round.
Yeah.
He came out, he's working his jab, keeping his distance. He was very mindful of his back against the cage,
and
circling.
Thrash out of that clinch if you have to, because it's not like he's getting taken down. So his takedown defense ability is there. It's just his timing on separating in the clinch. It's not even really a timing issue. It's like a commitment issue. You just got to commit to getting out of that clinch and start putting some hands on him.
All right, we'll see what adjustments will be made here, headed into the third and final round here of our opening bout.
And if you're Torres' corner, you got to say you're down 2 rounds. You have
Absolutely,
to, even
yeah.
if you maybe won that second, which I don't think you did. Whereas if you're Antonio's corner, you're like, hey, we're up 1, but not a guaranteed 2. You have to win the third, but you don't have to get a finish. So there's a little less risk on Antonio here in the third, but still. So that was a good right hand there from Torres.
Little calf kick there. Becoming a really useful weapon for a lot of guys. Calf kicks are kind of becoming a regular part of many kickboxers' arsenals. Heavy again with the kick attacks, just as we saw in the first round from Antonio.
That was a good left hand.
Great combination here from Torres, looking for the finish as he gets Antonio to the mat.
I mean, that was good, and that's what he needed. You know, a little separation. Oh, I think we're gonna catch a finish here.
A couple hard shots here. Referee Joe Solis circling in, inching closer.
Big shots. Antonio's gonna have to clinch up and
Antonio
wrestle.
looking for the takedown, trying to get into a safe space, but looks like the referee giving a warning there, telling the fighter to move. Plenty of time, 1 minute and 40 seconds left here in the final round.
Antonio cannot flatten out to his belly. That body language is bad news. That ref's gonna stop that.
Really trying for his takedown is Antonio. Back to the feet.
Best case scenario for Antonio to stay in this fight.
Very familiar and comfortable position for him. He's been here numerous times throughout the fight.
Like right there, I mean, Torres is right on his free.
Yeah.
There's space, punch and underhook. You know, and like psychologically, sometimes in fights, the stress is high. Sometimes just kind of clamping onto the guy so there's no action is almost like a survival mechanism so you can kind of get your cardio back, get your whereabouts back.
Alex, I think the gentleman over my left shoulder here would agree with you. He's been screaming, get the underhook for a couple minutes now. Mauricio Torres getting on a guillotine here for just a moment, able to reverse the position and getting some hands going once more. Antonio, though, just barrels through the strikes and is able to get to that clinch once more. 30 seconds left. See what happens here in short time.
You know, now we're really looking at how was this fight scored. I'm curious. I don't know if the knockdown warranted a 10-8. So I think Torres, kind of no matter what happens, is going to win this third round. But how'd they score round 2? I think Antonio definitely wins round 1.
Good flurry here at the end. Torres sends the fighter down to the ground. And we'll see what the judges have to say about this fight. Good opening bout here in Fury Amateur Series 52. Debut fighter getting the night started, getting the afternoon rather started here. Facing a grizzled veteran, 39-year-old fighter, looking like a young man in there, going the distance against the 20-year-old. Replays up on the screen now. A lot of the rounds trended the same way. We started to see the clinch. We see some striking in open space. Both fighters landing a good amount of strikes. But ultimately, Antonio trying to work himself back to that clinch position. But lots of damage done for Torres in between those times. So we'll see what our judges have to say about it. Looks like they're deliberating and we'll have the decision delivered momentarily.
So in like modern judging, the first 40 seconds of round number 2, Torres landed good shots. You know, had Antonio kind of reaching, but then Antonio clinches him up for, you know, about 2 minutes. Didn't really do any damage, scored no takedowns. So I think scoring the second round, if it's old school judging, it's an Antonio round. If it's new school judging, I think it's a Torres round. I wouldn't be surprised if Torres wins this 2 and 3. I wouldn't be surprised if Antonio wins at 1 and 2. We could see a split here for opening fight.
Hey, that's the thing about when it goes to the judges, you just never know. Looks like Wayne has made his way inside the cage. We'll go ahead and toss it into him and make this one official.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of combat, we go to the judges' scorecards for your decision, brought to you by Danuna Law Firm. Judge Chance Williams scores the fight 29-28, Antonio. Judge Ramsey Ishak scores the fight 29-28, Torres. And Judge Ryan Thompson scores the fight 29-28, declaring your winner by split decision, Gabriel Antonio.
Gabriel Antonio picking up the razor-thin split decision.
Oh yeah, it's so funny. Those judges, 2 chances, old school judge.
Yeah.
Ramsey, new school. Ryan, new school, but probably the most accurate one.
Yep.
I think the control time outdid the few strikes. That was really close. I feel like that could have and should have been a split.
Yeah, absolutely agree with the split. It's a very close fight.